Hey, Joshua Moriarty here to talk music for you at Rolling Stone. How you doing? My beginnings in music, I guess I started off playing piano when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I played for 4 or 5 years and then it got really boring. Something about the classical nature of it, perhaps the scales and those sorts of things. I just ended up stopping, and then I was in the school music room and some kids were playing distorted guitar, and that was that. I'm having that, thank you very much. I was on board, started playing guitar then, and I haven't really stopped for the last bloody 25 years or something. It's hard for me to even, I think that's how long I've been playing guitar for. I think I'm in about 4 or 5 different bands at the moment. I got my solo project. Music just keeps coming to me, so I feel a sort of sense of obligation to translate it and record it and put it out into the world, and then you can do whatever you want with it. With regards to musical inspiration, I guess I don't really have a set way or a mantra. I don't need to sort of drive to a lake with a journal or look out at a beautiful mountain or a river or be by a river or some trees or something like that. I kind of just get on with it. I don't know, music comes to me at all different places and times. Other times I'll just grab the guitar and force myself to write 5 pieces of music just because that's what you have to do. I sort of subscribe more to that Nick Cave theory that you turn up to work 8 hours a day and just work and nut it out, and that's really it. I don't know, inspiration's a funny one. My new single, Isolation, I wrote it at the beginning of last year, 2019. I was traveling a lot between Los Angeles and Melbourne for work with Miami Horror and other projects, and then back to Australia for All the Colours, and then back to LA for some solo things that I was working on. And I guess I just started to feel very disconnected from each city. Sort of neither place felt like it was home anymore. It's amazing to be able to travel for music. Obviously, it's one of the perks of the job, but at times it can just leave you feeling, I don't know, very out of sorts and disconnected and not quite knowing. I don't know, there's a sort of extreme shitty sort of loneliness that can come with it as well, but you meet some incredible people, so it's all part of the job. But yeah, so this song was written then, and I decided to finish it now because I guess a lot of people are feeling that similar sense of isolation at the moment, and it seemed like a good time to release it into the world. And I feel like the lyrics and the emotion perhaps can connect with some people that sort of maybe relate a little bit more at this moment. Yeah, Miami Horror was actually supposed to be in Mexico this month in May of 2020. There was a big festival we were supposed to play in Guadalajara, but obviously that got cancelled, so I'm not sure when we're going to be there next, which is a bit sad. We were in Mexico City last year for Corona Capital, which was bloody amazing. I think one of the great shows we've ever played is Miami Horror. The audience was just so loving and giving and forthcoming, and we felt so, I don't know, it was very, very, very special. I met the crew at La Bestia and the Bestia Cello. I've been putting out my singles recently. Those guys are awesome. I made friends with Daniela Spalla, who I met at Corona Capital. We hung out a lot while I was there for a few days in Mexico. She showed me a lot of great restaurants and places around the city. Developed a little bit of a crush on her, actually. But yeah, the places that we went to, I don't know, I can't remember the names of any of them, but there was beautiful, great, wonderful food and nice places to drink. I remember the music that they're playing at the bars more so than anything else. That's kind of how I operate. There was one super cool sort of dive bar joint that had like Suicide and Tom Waits and just that sort of dusty, gritty music that I really, really enjoyed. And next time I'm in town, I'd love to interview Christian from Reno and Daniela, obviously, for my podcast. The bottom of it, there's other guests and people I'd like to work with and interview in Mexico. Yeah, we always love coming, and everyone's been so loving and giving to us. It's one of our favorite places in the world to visit, to be in. Yeah, I'm working on my third record, Melancholia, at the moment. I put out my second one, Romantica, last year in 2019. I'm not too sure how to approach this third one. I've got a bunch of songs with vocals on and a bunch without, so I'm thinking perhaps I might turn it into an EP with the songs with singing, which would include the new single Isolation, and then maybe have another album later on that is purely instrumental. I've been working on a lot of music. At the start I was really excited because there was a lot of bits and pieces of music that I wanted to do, samples that I wanted to try, find new drum sounds, find new chords, new ways to work. So I was doing a lot of production-based stuff, but then after a while it started to drive me mad not being able to work with other people. I think I definitely need others to collaborate with. But yeah, sure, some of the pieces of music that I wrote will find some homes, be it Miami Horror, All the Colors, or solo work with a few of the other projects I'm doing. I also got a Super Nintendo reissue and the PlayStation 1, it's called a PlayStation Classic reissue, so I've been playing a bunch of the old computer games from the 90s, Donkey Kong Country, Mario, Worms. Some of my current recommendations, I watched the Japanese animated film Akira the other day. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thought the animation was, still holds up. It looks excellent. It's really cool. The vibe of that whole thing is quite special. I've been re-listening to Arthur Russell. My favorite album is Calling Out of Context. To be honest, it's the only album that I've really listened to. Obviously, I know other bits of his music, but he's got so many records. Calling Out of Context is the one for me that I really, really dig, so check that out.